Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens 2. Rebirth of Emperor Yang Part 1 based on novel. So let's start. Reincarnation of Yang Emperor. Duki Mainland, Zhongsho, Shuangdiyuan. Boom. Heaven and earth tremble, the void is broken, and the energy of heaven and earth continues to gather towards a milky energy vortex in the void. On the ground, countless people quietly watched what happened at the moment. Between heaven and earth, except for a few people, all people and warcraft fell to the ground and looked at the scene above the sky. Only the young man in white in the air burst out a hot light in his eyes. In a pair of bright eyes, there was full of fighting spirit, which made the whole void tremble. The space around the man's body is constantly impacted by the soaring war, so that the hard crack recovers again. It seems that as long as you add strength, the whole space will fall apart in an instant. When you look at the two figures standing beside you, you are full of exclamation. The strong man fighting the emperor is really so strong. Just the rise of the fighting spirit in the body will lead to continuous concussion and rupture of the space. The strong fighting emperor is indeed the real peak of fighting spirit on the mainland. Behind the young man in white, 4 men and 3 women, and 3 children who looked 11 or 12 years old, stood quietly. Several children surrounded the 2 beautiful women with their hands. The 2 beautiful shadows also bowed slightly and stretched out their hands to hold a younger child in their arms. Only one of them seems to be a little girl of 13 or 14 years old, who still stands on the void with her feet in the air and looks at her breath. It can't help being shocked. The little girl, who is only 14 or 15 years old, actually has reached the late stage of the 8-star duet. Such strength, even if we look at the whole fighting continent, can be matched by only a handful of people. Young people have such terrible strength. It's hard to imagine how terrible their strength will reach in the future. But even so, the little girl at the moment, her bright and beautiful eyes, is staring at the back in front of her. It doesn't look so straight. There is glittering water around her eyes. This scene also appeared in several children and 2 beautiful women beside him. The ruddy eyes made them can't bear to see the back in front of them again, for fear that they would really cry. However, if they don't see it, they are more afraid that they will never have a chance to meet it in the future. They are afraid that in a twinkling of an eye, the figure in front of them will suddenly disappear and never be found back. After all, what will happen today is unknown to them and him. The 2 beautiful women stared at the young man in white with light in their eyes. Their ruddy lips disappeared together. In their slightly reddish beautiful eyes, they showed a reluctant light. Although they wanted to say something, they were still blocked in their mouth after all. For the man in front of them, all they can do is trust them wholeheartedly. Believe in his strength, worry should not appear in his mind. As long as they believe in his strength, there is no doubt. Finally wait until this day. It seems that the ancestors' guess is right. Duty is not the end of the world. There is indeed a peak above duty. Xiao Yan stared at the jade bottle in his hand. There was a gorgeous different fire churning in the depths of his pupils, and the look on his face was getting hotter and hotter at the moment. At this moment, Xiao Yan clearly felt that the fighting spirit on his body began to fluctuate violently. The feeling that had not appeared for more than 10 years made Xiao Yan's heart hot at this time. Alas, if I had been there when Xiao Xian broke through, he might not have disappeared between heaven and earth. On one side, Xiao Yuan, who heard what Xiao Yan said, couldn't help sighing. He looked ashamed and sighed in a slightly sad voice. When Xiao Yan heard this, he gave a broad smile, laughed at Xiao Yuan and comforted him. Father-in-law, please rest assured that the ancestors of Xiao Xian did not completely disappear between heaven and earth. You. What are you talking about? Xiao Xian, he's not dead. As soon as Xiao Yang said this, Xiao Yuan and Xiao Zhong standing next to him were shocked, and even Zhu Kuan's eyes lit up. Over the years, he has also heard a lot about Xiao Xian, and he admires him. At the moment, he is naturally very happy to know that Xiao Xian is not dead. Until after the good film Carving, Xiao Yuan asked Xiao Yang with a little trembling and excitement in his voice. All they knew was that in order to help Xiao Yang's soul break through the perfect system of heaven, Xiao Xian entered the empire, burned his residual soul, fought with the spirit of the tomb that day, and then dissipated between heaven and earth. But they didn't know that Xiao Yang collected the origin of his soul, so they were extremely shocked when they learned the news. After Xiao Yang explained the reason, they understood. Ha ha, ha ha, I knew that he could survive with the help of the heavenly tomb under such circumstances at the beginning. How could he die casually, ha ha? Xiao Yuan, who understood all this, also laughed bravely. The whole person seemed to become a lot younger in an instant. Xiao Yang also smiled. He knew that Xiao Yuan had always felt sorry for the desolation of the Xiao family. After all, the Xiao family was also an ally of the Xiao family. However, as soon as Xiao Xian died, the Xiao family was destroyed, but the ancient family did not give much due help. Xiao Yuan was blocked by the elders of the family. The leader of the ancient family was also powerless and felt extremely guilty. In his heart, he always felt that the ancient family owed something to the Xiao family. Although Xiao Yang has become the emperor and the Xiao family has risen strongly again, his guilt for the martyrs of the Xiao family has not decreased much. Now he hears that Xiao Xian is not dead, there is still the possibility of resurrection, and his guilt naturally dissipates. As long as Xiao Xian resurrects and sees that the Xiao family is still alive and stronger than when he was there, everything will be nothing. No matter what Xiao Xian will say at that time, he can have sufficient reasons to face him. Ha ha, but Xiao Yang, you are a real boy. You didn't say such a big thing earlier. You made me feel guilty for so many years. Do you want to deliberately retaliate against me? When you come back, I will ask you to apologize to me. Xiao Yuan's huge palm slapped Xiao Yang on the shoulder, his eyes looked at Xiao Yang tightly, and his mouth laughed and joked. Of course, Xiao Yang knew some other meanings, but he could only nod secretly. It seemed that he was aware of Xiao Yang's mind in his mouth. Xiao Yuan immediately frowned and wanted to say something more, but Xiao Yang turned his voice, smiled and said again. My father-in-law, I didn't mean to do it, but over the years, I'm not sure I can revive my ancestors. Therefore, I don't dare to make a conclusion. However, until today, I feel that the soul origin of my ancestors has changed, and I am confident that I will be able to resurrect my ancestors. As for this trip, I don't know if I can come back alive, but my son-in-law must do his best to come back and make an apology to his father-in-law. As soon as the voice fell, Xiao Yang's eyes looked at Xiao Yuan for a moment, and Xiao Yang turned fiercely. He no longer paid attention to Xiao Yuan, whose face became a little heavy, but looked at the strange milky white vortex that had stopped collecting the energy of heaven and earth in the void. Behind Xiao Yang's hands, the whole person's breath suddenly calmed down. Like an ordinary person without cultivation, his eyes looked at the white energy vortex only a few feet away from him, as if he wanted to see through the white energy vortex completely. Xiao Yang stood quietly in the void, but the momentum appeared out of thin air, like a sharp sword, rushed straight into the sky, cut the sky and pierced the void until the end of the void. In the 10 years since Xiao Yang became emperor, Xiao Yang has been to the tombs of many ancient strong emperors. Although most of them have been destroyed by outsiders, some have not been found by the world, but even so, some of the information obtained is still a cup of water cart salary for Xiao Yang. But even under such circumstances, it didn't stop until a year ago, and from then on, Xiao Yang had a strong hunch that Xiao Xian's resurrection method must be in the near future. Now, the premonition in Xiao Yang's heart has come. Xiao Xian's resurrection method exists in the milky energy vortex in front of him. Xiao Xian's ancestor and younger generation Xiao Yang can finally repay your good fortune. Xiao Yang looked at the milky white energy vortex in front of him and thought in his heart. Then she turned her head and looked at Sana and Kailin. The two women looked at Xiao Yang with red eyes. Their eyes were full of strong reluctance and love. Xiao Yang stretched out his hand to hold the two women together with their children in their arms and took a deep breath of the faint fragrance on them. Xiao Yang said in a reluctant tone, "Take care of yourself and your children when I come back." The two women silently closed their eyes and nodded in response. Then Xiao Yang looked at the little girl who also snuggled in her arms, leaned down, put on a loving warm smile at the corners of her lips, and then whispered, Xiao, as a sister, I have to take care of my mother's two little brothers. Xiao listened to Xiao Yan's entrustment and finally couldn't help it. In her red beautiful eyes, crystal tears burst into her eyes. Her two slender arms also hugged Xiao Yan's neck. Her exquisite head leaned tightly against Xiao Yan's arms and cried loudly. When Zana and Kaylin saw this, their ruddy eyes became more and more red, and their bright tears were about to fall down like pearls. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yan heard his daughter crying in his arms. Naturally, he couldn't be quiet, but he also knew that if he couldn't keep stable at the moment, he was afraid that after he left, the family would worry about him all day. He quickly sorted out his inner emotions, and then Xiao Yan picked up Xiao snuggled in his arms. A warm smile appeared at the corners of his mouth, looked at Zana and Kaylin, and joked. Two girls, it's not a parting of life and death. It's just going to play in other places. It's not that you don't come back and cry. Don't you believe my strength? Xiao Yan's words just came out. Zana and Kaylin quickly cleaned up their emotions on their pretty faces. They looked at each other and smiled reluctantly. Then they put Xiao in Xiao Yan's arms down, wiped away the tears on his pink face, and gently sent it between Zana and Kaylin. As soon as they turned around, they looked at the second old man not far behind them. These two elders seemed to be the two most important figures on Xiao Yan's growth path. First, his father, Xiao Zhon. Before he became familiar with Yao Lao, Xiao Zhon firmly believed in him on his growth path, whether before, during or after the 3 years of waste time. Xiao Zhon was captured by the Soul clan, which can be said to be the most regretful thing Xiao Yan had ever regretted. If he had not been young and frivolous at that time, his father would not have been captured. Of course, on the other hand, if Xiao Zhon had not been captured, it would have given Xiao Yan more motivation and desire for strength. I'm afraid he would not grow so fast. It's hard to say whether it's a blessing or a curse. The second one is the person who has the greatest influence on Xiao Yan and is also the most key. Yao Lao. If it hadn't been for Xiao Yan's 3-year low, Yao Lao wouldn't wake up. If it hadn't been for Xiao Yan's 3-year low, Xiao Yan wouldn't know how to bear it. If it hadn't been for those 3 years, Xiao Yan wouldn't precipitate a good cultivation foundation. If it hadn't been for those 3 years, Xiao Yan may not break his engagement with Nailan Yangran, or he may not win Yunlanzong. After 3 years of waste firewood, Xiao Yan got the name of waste, which was ignored and abused by thousands of people. After 3 years of waste firewood, Xiao Yan led Nailan to step on the door and withdraw her marriage. She signed a 3-year divorce. As a result, Yunlanzong's anger. But had it not been for these 3 years, Xiao Yan would not have dominated the Blackhorn region at that moment. If it hadn't been for these 3 years, Xiao Yan couldn't have forcibly set up Yan League and dominated Gamma Empire on his own. If it had not been for these 3 years, Zhongzhou mainland would never have had a chance with Xiao Yan. The Xiao clan will no longer exist. If it had not been for these 3 years, Xiao Yan could not have joined hands with Zhongzhou forces to establish Qianfu alliance, let alone achieve today's fighting emperor. Therefore, what Xiao Yan has now is inseparable from these two people. It can be said that without the encouragement and support of Xiao Zhon and the cultivation of Yao Lao, Xiao Yan can only fall in a small corner of the continent after all. The wonderful mainland can only become the place he yearns for in his heart. Yao Lao and Xiaozhan. Yao Lao has already reached the 6-star dual saint after so many years. Although Xiaozhan is strong, Xiaozhan has also reached the point of 3-star dual saint. Now, they are both the top strong men on the fighting mainland. Of course, even so, there are as many stronger people on the mainland than them, but no one will disrespect them. Now, with their status, even the leader of Yan family, they can't be compared with them. Not for anything else, just because of Xiao Yang, the supreme strongman who saved the whole fighting continent. Xiao Yang looked at the two old men and suddenly bent his knees. He knelt in the void. Looking straight at the bottom, everyone admired him. He was also envious of Yao Lao and Xiao Zhon, who were so powerful and filial to their teachers. Old Yao and Xiao Zhon saw this scene. Although they wanted to help Xiao Yang, Xiao Yangtang was a strong man fighting against the emperor. The real peak on the continent existed. What the strong man wanted to do was something they could stop. Therefore, the two elders could only watch Xiao Yan kowtow 10 heads. Thank you for your father's nurturing kindness, thank you for the teacher's teaching kindness. The child is unfilial and can't serve the second old man. I hope the second old man can take care of his body in the future. Don't work too hard and focus on his own body. Xiao Yan suddenly said. The old man's face full of years was full of satisfied smiles, and his eyes were also full of white tears. If a person lives for a lifetime, it can be regarded as a worthwhile life to have such an outstanding and respectful younger generation. After thanking the two elders for their upbringing and teaching, Xiao Yan turned to look at Shu Kuan with an envious look on his face, looked at him suspiciously and asked, "Uncle Shu Kuan, I don't know what Xian is doing now, or she doesn't want to see me off." Xiao Yan knew that everyone was reluctant to give up, which could be seen from the fact that the doctor didn't come. Therefore, the tone of Xiao Yan's words was also slightly apologetic. Nephew Xiao Yan, you don't have to ask about this. The little girl doesn't want to give up on you. You don't have to think about it. You will know it in the future. You can go at ease, ha ha. But what Xiao Yan didn't expect was that Shu Kuan's reply was completely different from what he thought. When he saw Shu Kuan's confident eyes, he didn't say anything more, but turned his body in a direction, facing those relatives and friends who had helped him at the beginning, and his eyes swept one by one from them. Liu Qing, Wu Hao and others could see that after a few breaths, Xiao Yan faced them, hugged them with both hands and bowed deeply towards them. Without looking back, he turned and walked towards the milky white energy vortex suspended in the void. The people behind him were stunned for a moment and finally calmed down. They looked at the white figure of Xiao Yan who was about to enter the vortex. Suddenly, all of them bent slightly, hugged their fists and arched in the direction of Xiao Yan. At the same time, they shouted in unison. "Congratulations to Emperor Yang! Congratulations to Emperor Yang! Congratulations to Emperor Yang!" The cry didn't stop until Xiao Yang disappeared for a long time. When shouting, no one used his fighting spirit and only used his original maximum voice. This is a kind of respect for the worshippers, but in this way, its momentum still shook the whole continent. When people shouted, no one was unwilling, because the person they shouted for was the one who saved the whole fighting continent. That person was Yang Emperor, Xiao Yan. The origin of the continent breaking through the sky. In the milky white vortex, Xiao Yang stared at the space in front of him. To be exact, it should be the thick white fog floating in the space. That's what has long disappeared in the Duki continent and what the original Soul Emperor planned for thousands of years, even at the cost of the whole continent. The origin of the Emperor. Tut, the origin of the Emperor. The Soul Emperor of Heaven planned for 1,000 years for a trace of the Emperor's baby pill, but now, these origins of the Emperor are like the air. Tut, it's really a change of the world. As long as you become the fighting Emperor, the origin of the Emperor, tut, I'm afraid it's much more than the air. Unfortunately, you can't go back from this space, otherwise if you give the origin of these emperors to your father-in-law and Master Shu Kuan, you can create 2 strong fighting emperors out of thin air. Alas, it's a pity, really, tut. At the thought of this, Xiao Yang is a long sigh, but on second thought, Xiao Yang will no longer think about anything. Gu Yuan and Shu Kuan are already old and the top strong men in the fighting spirit mainland. They have long been used to the leisure life in the fighting spirit mainland. Now let them break through the system and solidify as emperors and fight with themselves in another unfamiliar world. Let alone disagree, Zun Iya and Kalin will not agree. So he moved and flew away towards the white fog in front of him. While Xiao Yang was marching, he never found that the origin of the emperor was slowly gathering towards Xiao Yang at a speed invisible to the naked eye, and even passed through his clothes into Xiao Yang's body, integrating with Xiao Yang's fighting spirit and body. However, Xiao Yang, the principal, did not know at all and was still moving forward towards the thick white fog ahead. I don't know how long it took. Xiao Yang finally stopped, but he frowned and looked very ugly. Xiao Yang didn't deliberately calculate his travel time, so he didn't know how long he had gone, but it should be about 10 days and a half months, but from the beginning to now, there was still a white fog ahead, nothing. Xiao Yan once tried to change direction, but the result was the same. He couldn't find a place that looked like a way out. Xiao Yan had to expand his empire soul, but he still didn't find anything. Instead, he felt that there was something wrong with the power of his soul, but he couldn't feel what was wrong, which also made Xiao Yan's face more dignified. Until later, Xiao Yan even felt some swelling in his body. He thought he couldn't adapt to the origin of these emperors, so he tried to move faster, but he found that the faster he moved forward, the more swollen his body became. Until just now, Xiao Yan inadvertently noticed that his hands were covered with dents and small cracks. Under Xiao Yan's careful observation, Xiao Yan found that his whole body was like this. Xiao Yan was frightened and dignified at the moment. He was seriously injured without knowing it, and his body had reached the verge of collapse. Xiao Yan wanted to use fighting spirit to force suppression, but when he ran fighting spirit, he found that in such a moment, he could not mention fighting spirit, and was even more perplexed to suppress his injury. Damn, what's going on? Why, my body? My fighting spirit? How did this happen? Ah. What's the matter? Is there no stronger one above the fighting emperor? Are all the senses of the power of my soul over the years just illusions? Did those ancient strong fighting emperors die here? So what's the point of fighting the emperor? Xiao Yan's heart was angry and roared for some reason. I'm not reconciled. For my teacher, for my father, for Zuna, for my family and for the whole fighting spirit continent, I continue to cultivate, turn 9 into saints, and finally break through the system of fighting saints, incarnate into emperors and defeat the soul emperor. But why, in the end, it's just a joke, I'm not reconciled. I'm not reconciled. Xiao Yan thought of this in his heart, looked up, and made an unwilling hoarse roar in his throat, trying his best to roar to the sky. At this time, Xiao Yan's hair was scattered, his face was red, and a trace of blood continued to flow out from the crack of the skin on his face, which dyed Xiao Yan's whole body into a piece of blood red and turned into a blood man. His eyes were congested and protruded outward, his upper and lower muscles were tight, and he stood straight in place. He looked like a crazy Warcraft, very ferocious and terrible. Suddenly, Xiao Yan's body fell back, his eyes closed slowly, and the force of the soul spread and disappeared involuntarily. If someone saw this scene at this time, he would recognize that this is the precursor of the collapse of the origin of the soul. But the power of those souls did not disappear, but integrated with the origin of those emperors in an extremely strange state. Xiao Yan's body fell down at an unusually fast speed. If there was a rock right under Xiao Yan's body at this time, Xiao Yan must have been broken to pieces and died on the spot. In the process of Xiao Yan's coma and whereabouts, Xiao Yan had a dream. He dreamed of his 3 years of waste firewood, the ridicule of his people, the happiness and danger of following his teacher to the mainland, and the joys and sorrows with Zuna. But suddenly, all this began to disappear. Xiao Yan watched his relatives and friends leave him one by one. Xiao Yan wanted to leave them, but he was still powerless. Looking at Zuna, whose body shape gradually faded, Xiao Yan suddenly stretched out his hand to grasp Zuna, but he still did nothing. In his dream, Xiao Yan clenched his hands into fists and angrily roared to the sky. Ah! Zuna! The sky is unfair! The sky is unfair! At the same time, Xiao Yan, whose body is falling constantly in reality, also reaches out his hand, but the result is different. In his hand, there is a silver-white light band. At this time, the silver-white light band was struggling because of the sudden fixation, trying to break away from Xiao Yan's palm. Although Xiao Yan couldn't use his fighting spirit at this time, how powerful his physical strength was, and how could a small silver band of light break away? Therefore, after struggling for a long time without fruit, he finally stopped, as if he had collapsed, lay quietly in Xiao Yan's hand and fell down with Xiao Yan. Inexplicable familiarity. Here is a vast forest. At a glance, in the depths of the forest, there is a tall mountain, half red and half white, towering into the clouds and straight into the sky like a pillar of the sky. At this time, in an open space in the forest, a red flame figure is sitting on the ground. Above his head, a huge energy vortex is slowly rotating. The energy of heaven and earth is converging to it at an extremely terrible speed, forming bursts of energy gusts around, making several nearby trees fall in response to the wind. However, a white man lying on his back in the open space beside him was in a coma, but he was unharmed and was not affected by the hurricane. A moment later, the flame figure stood up from the ground, and the flame dispersed, revealing a beautiful face. In the center of his eyebrows, a half-black and half-red flame mark glowed faintly. But at the moment, he frowned, then looked at the man lying on one side. After detecting that the man was healthy, he looked up at the mountain in the distance, frowned and thought for a moment, shook his head slowly, sat cross-legged again, and quietly waited for his awakening. After a long time, Xiao Yan slowly stood up from the ground with a little cough. Cough, I'm still alive? My injury is better. While observing the surrounding environment, Xiao Yan looked inward and checked the internal condition of his body. But he found that there was no change in his body except for the origin of the emperor. Even there was no blood flowing out after the original physical injury, which made Xiao Yan feel as if he was dreaming. When he turned around, he saw the flame figure sitting cross-legged beside him. Hui? By the way, Hui, do you remember what we did in that space? Xiao Yan didn't react quickly until he saw Hui, and then asked a slightly strange question in his mouth. Xiao Yan was surprised that Hui didn't appear when he was on the verge of death. Hui and he were one. Although they had their own intelligence, how could they ignore Xiao Yan when he was in danger? This made Xiao Yan feel very wrong, but he was embarrassed to ask too frankly, so he turned a corner and asked. Remember, I also saw the whole process of your injury. Hui sighed lightly. Then he looked at Xiao Yan and replied with a little regret. He seemed to be aware of the doubt in Xiao Yan's words, and then said, But I can't help you or even remind you, because I was sealed after I just entered the vortex. No matter how hard I struggled, it was futile. At this point, Xiao Yan also gradually understood that he almost died with his strength to fight the emperor. What can he do with the strength of Hui's 9-star fight saint now? It's good to be able to avoid accidents, let alone save people. In the past 10 years, Xiao Yi's strength has also continuously increased to the peak of the 9-star dual saint. It is only one step away from the peak of the 9-star dual saint. But even so, it is still difficult to help Xiao Yan, which makes Xiao Yi quite helpless. The name Hui is also because its appearance is no longer a baby, so Xiao Yan renamed it Hui. Moreover, because Hui now has his own intelligence, it is equivalent that the two people's thoughts focus on Xiao Yan, which makes both of them very uncomfortable. Therefore, Xiao Yan cut off their thoughts and ideas, but the different fire was Xiao Yang after all. Therefore, Xiao Yan also tried his best to peel the spirit knowledge of Hui out of the different fire at the beginning, and then used the different fire to shape a fire spirit body for Hui, and used the different fire to warm up for several years before he succeeded. Therefore, it's okay for Xiao Yang to use different fire now, and Hui has become an alternative, different fire, because he later practices the scroll fire-making secret method Xiao Yang got at the beginning. At the end of Hui's words, his palm turned over again, a silver-white light band appeared in his hand, constantly twisted and struggled, and a thin space crack appeared in the surrounding space. Xiao Yang raised his eyebrows and looked at Hui strangely. This is a ray of space power. With Xiao Yang's eyes, he can naturally see the uniqueness of this ray of space power. After all, ordinary space power is not as smart as this ray. Although the intelligence of this ray of space power is not high, it is enough to show its uniqueness. This is what you caught in that space. When I came here earlier, I found that you held it tightly, so I'll put it away for you for the time being. As soon as Xiao Yan heard that he had caught it, he immediately remembered his dream. The successive loss of relatives in the dream still made Xiao Yan feel a lingering fear until now, but fortunately it was just a dream. Otherwise, Xiao Yan really didn't know how to live. As far as Xiao Yan is concerned, no matter how strong his strength is, he will never let go of it in his heart. Zana and Kaylin are all external objects after all. Only relatives are really worthy of Xiao Yan's life. After a little calming, Xiao Yan not only didn't stretch out his hand to catch back the silver-white space, but a golden light flashed through his palm. Over his palm, a thunder dragon with a bright golden light was constantly hovering and looking at the small space force. A pair of golden eyes were full of eager to try. In his mouth, there were bursts of excited dragon chants. Xiao Jin? What are you? This golden dragon called Xiao Jin by Xiao Yan is the Jiushuan Golden Thunder who survived because of Xiao Yan. However, his strength has been greatly reduced because of Xiao Yan, and he has fallen all the way to the level of a star. But in the accident, he regarded Xiao Yan as his relatives, which also made Xiao Yan quite speechless. However, due to the love of Xiao and other children, Xiao Yang acquiesced. After all, the Jiushuan Jinlei once helped Xiao Yang, so Xiao Yang helped him recover his strength in the past 10 years, and made his strength reach the level of fighting saint and become a first-class fighting saint. But what Xiao Yang never expected was that the little guy also followed in, and now he should want to swallow up the power of this space. Xiao Yang looked at the Jiushuan Golden Thunder in front of him, and then looked at the wisp of space power. He thought a little. He smiled and closed his palm. In an instant, Xiao Jin appeared in front of the wisp of space power like a runaway wild horse. The power of space like a small snake seemed to feel a dangerous breath. He rolled up his body and trembled constantly. Xiao Jin was excited and kept spinning around it. Suddenly, the golden light on Xiao Jin's body appeared, and the dazzling golden light was like a small sun, which made the force of that space more frightened. His body shape was constantly twisted to escape the void, but under the control of Hui, it could not escape the void in front of him anyway. Seeing this, Xiao Jin's small body twisted happily. His body moved. The 4 petite dragon claws spread out and rushed towards the force of space about the size of his body. The golden light surged and quickly wrapped the power of this small space. The little guy also kept rolling and hissing. But unfortunately, under the control of Hui, the 9-star dual saint, how can it escape from bondage? Therefore, it can only be swallowed up by Xiao Jin in bursts of small cries. Finally, a moment later, Xiao Jin uttered a pleasant sound of dragon singing, turned over in the air and fell into Xiao Yang's arm, fell into a deep sleep and began to refine the energy just obtained. Xiao Yang looked at Xiao Jin, who turned into his arm, smiled and shook his head. Then he looked at Hui and asked, "By the way, where's Xiao Yan? Why isn't he with you?" The black yang in Xiao Yang's mouth is the nihility swallowing inflammation in those years. At the beginning, in order to seal the Soul Emperor, he belonged to the different fire square. However, after 10 years, the Soul Emperor had already lost his soul, and nihility swallowing inflammation had already come out of the different fire square and restored his freedom. However, because he wanted to be the Emperor, he always followed Xiao Yang, but refused to recognize Xiao Yang as the main body. Therefore, Xiao Yang combined some of his different fire origins with Hui, so that both sides could know each other's approximate position, so as to facilitate the mutual search after the incident that happened to Xiao Yang in the future. However, Hui didn't reply after hearing this, but turned to look at the tall red and white mountain, with a trace of doubt in his eyes. This video will end here.